Rewind, the show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and aim to figure out if the reviewers were spot on or a little off. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about, I don't know what to pull for like a soundtrack. We watched Heat. We watched Heat.
Such an awkwardly long pause.
I know. Hey. Oh. And I wonder if it recorded that. No, I don't think it. Maybe it did. I don't know. How you doing, Tristan?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Apparently, I am all over the place. I don't know. Alrighty. That's good enough for me. This one might be a while, so let's try to run through it as much as possible. Directed by Michael Mann, produced by Art Linson and Michael Mann, written by Michael Mann, distributed by Michael Mann. No, Warner Brothers. Production company: New Regency Productions, Warner Brothers, Regency Enterprise. Forward Pass. Rated R. Genre: crime drama. Original language: English. Released December 15th, 1995. Really good Christmas movie. Budget: $60 million. In the U.S., made $67 million. And worldwide, it made $187 million. So, successful to an extent. And, I didn't put it on there, but I can read it real quick. Starring Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Tom Sizemore, Diane Vernon, Venora, Amy Brenneman, Ashley Judd, Mykelti Williamson, Wes Studi, Ted Levine, John Voight, and Val Kilmer. Wow, Val Kilmer really got down in there. Friggin' Actors Guild.
Yeah, Ted got up there higher than he did.
What did Ted do?
Ted is the guy that's always a cop in everything.
And
I think I've seen him in one thing where he wasn't a cop.
He's in the first Fast and the Furious.
He's in Fast and Furious. He's the cop in that.
He's in Psych, isn't he? Is that
the
show he's on?
In Psych. No. Not Psych. Monk.
Yeah. Hey, it's another weird guy that sees things that people don't see.
It was on the USA Network.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's cool. Speaking of cool. Recap! Rewind! Now we transition to the Recap Rewind, where we rewind and recap the movie for you, the audience. And I want you to know, I died a little writing this. It's not particularly funny, and I don't even know if it's cohesive, but here we go. In our first real movie, as some movie bros would say, we watched Michael Mann's seminal Heat. We open with a team of criminals working to rob an armored car. We are first shown Neil, Robert De Niro, working to obtain an ambulance. He steals an ambulance. Somewhere else in L.A., Chris, Val Kilmer, is procuring some explosives. I think that's what I'm supposed to understand. Speaking of explosives, we are quickly introduced to Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino, who is exploding in the bedroom, who showers... I had to take it somewhere. Anyway, Vincent Hanna, who showers with metal bracelets on. Did you notice that? And when he's showering, he still has his metal bracelet. Is that a thing people do? I don't wear jewelry, so when I saw that, I was like...
I wasn't paying that close of attention.
Does that rust? Someone would be like, if it's sterling steel, it won't rust. I don't know why they sound like that. It establishes a couple of things. Vincent is very busy. His wife, Justine, Diane Venora is struggling with their relationship and possibly on antidepressants. I think that's what they're trying to infer. And Justine's daughter, Lauren, Natalie Portman, a very young Natalie Portman. How about that? Oh, seems to be struggling with some mental health issues. Got a little, Mike, remember to not insert a joke here. It's not appropriate. Also, make sure to delete this. If you read this far, you've gone to, God damn it. Anyway, we cut to a guy who looks like the worst human ever. Waingro, played by Kevin Gage, who gets picked up by Sharito, Tom Sizemore. Waingro is clearly new, and Sharito clearly doesn't like him, or just wants business to be business. I can't really tell. Neil radios Trejo, Danny Trejo. How good for him. His name is there. The last piece of the team. And they mask up and crash into an armored car, which crashes into a car dealership, which had cars from 1988. Wow. They pull up. They pull the three guards out of the car, and Chris goes in to find whatever it is they're looking for. As they wait, Waingro proves to have an itchy finger and antagonizes a clearly traumatized guard. When they finally find what they're looking for, they all retreat, knowing they're running out of time. But Waingro continues to antagonize until, out of nowhere, he shoots the guard. Another guard pulls a gun and is shot by Chirito, who then looks at Neil about the third guard, who is not a threat at all. Neil gives the okay to kill him. Chirito does, and they all retreat, blowing up most of the evidence as they disappear. Neil meets with his salesman? I'm not sure what criminals call him. A bookie? I don't know. Anyway, it's Jon Voight playing Nate, and I hate Jon Voight, so we're going to move on. Neil delivers what they stole, which was bonds of $1.something million owned by some rich douchebag. Nate tells Neil that it's insured, so the guy is going to get all his money back, and they could probably sell him back the bonds for cheap, make some money, and saving the rich guy money too. Neil gives the okay, and then Nate informs him of another job to get information on the next day. Vincent gets to the crime scene with his team. Bosco, Ted Levine. Wait. Bosco? Come on, Michael Mann. That's a terrible name. Cassels, Wes Studi, Drucker, Michael T. Williamson. I had to look at that one for a minute. The team seems to work in concert as Vincent lays out what happened. He's impressed. He understands that the team that did the job was good, knowledgeable, and efficient. Neil meets back with the rest of the crew at their favorite meeting spot, a diner. A diner is a set piece a lot in this movie. And basically fire Waingro by trying to kill him, but due to some unexpected distractions, Waingro runs away. Moving further along, we see that Chris has a wife, Charlene, played by Ashley Judd, and a child. And Chris is not good at his role of father and husband. Vincent also shows that his marriage is struggling. And Neil goes to another diner. He likes diners. Where a nice woman, Edie, Amy Brenneman, is very kind to him, and he's a dick to her. He apologizes, and they talk. Somehow this works. She goes home with him, and they spend the night together. But wait, before we move on, Neil says during this time that he is from the Bay Area. Why are there like 9 people in this movie that are clearly New York adjacent, but we're supposed to believe they're from California? Anyway, the next day, Vincent meets with an informant and demands information. Vincent also seems to be unhinged and crazy. Neil agrees to rob a bank, and Nate calls the owner of the bonds, Van Zandt, played by William Fichtner. Van Zandt plays nice on the phone, but as soon as he hangs up, he tells his right-hand man, Hugh Benny, played by Henry Rollins, to basically put a hit out on Neil. Neil goes home to find Chris sleeping on his floor. Neil calls Charlene to see what's up. Clearly, there is trouble on the island of Dr. Monroe. That's a freaking great reference. Anyway, Neil then goes to the diner where we all see the Allstate guy, Breeden, Dennis Haysbert. I didn't know there was an S there. Haysbert. Looking for a job from a sketchy diner owner. We learn that Breeden is on parole. Neil calls Van Zandt, and Van Zandt agrees to meet for the bonds. When he hangs up, Neil looks across the street to a motel with Charlene walking out, kissing Mo Sislak. I mean, Police Chief Wiggum. I mean, Marciano, played by the wonderful Hank Azaria. Neil confronts Charlene and tells her to give Chris one more chance, and if Chris fails, Neil will pay for her to start a new life. And this is only the first 45 minutes of the movie. Let's fast forward a little. Vincent gets more information that helps him find the crew. Waingro kills a prostitute who is also underage. Vincent is called to the scene, and we then find out that Waingro is a serial killer. Lots of story happens that sums up that Vince gets too close, Neil finds out, and Vincent gets further away. As the bank job gets closer, several things occur. Van Zandt's team fails to kill Neil and is hiding based on threats made by Neil. Vincent knows the team except for Neil. Vincent's wife cheats on him, and Vincent passively accepts it. The LAPD is using a lot of resources to find this one team of criminals. Vincent and Neil meet up, and you basically understand that they're the same coin of different. They are different sides of the same coin. That's how you say that.
There it is.
There it is. The movie title is said a lot. Neil seems to fall in love with Edie, which goes against his code of staying disconnected from people. The day of the job, Trejo is followed too closely by the cops and has to bail on the mission. Neil recognizes Breedman from Folsom Prison, which apparently is the #1 place to find hard-working criminals. Neil offers him the job. Breedman takes it. The bank job goes well for the most part, until they get to the car where Chris sees cops and he starts shooting. The shootout leaves Breeden and Chirito dead. Chris is in critical condition, and Neil is pissed off. And this time, it's personal. He then believes it was Trejo who ratted the team out. Oh, jeez. What the hell? That ratted the team out. So it's to Neil's surprise that when he gets to Trejo's house, Trejo's wife is dead, and Trejo has been beaten to an inch of his life. Trejo tells him that Van Zandt tortured him for the information. Neil then does as Trejo asks and kills him. Neil, now the only healthy person on his team, goes and kills Van Zandt, runs away with Edie, and Vincent believes that Neil has escaped and everyone lived happily ever. Nah, I'm just kidding. Neil betrays his beliefs, and instead of just walking away like he's supposed to, he goes and tries to kill Waingro, who the cops have under tight surveillance. Also during this time, Vincent's stepdaughter, Lauren, tries to kill herself in Vincent's hotel room, but because of wound training, believe it or not, Vincent is able to stop the bleeding, and she is taken to the hospital where she is saved by doctors, and Justine and Vincent make up. Vincent is then called when Neil is seen, and long story short, Neil kills Waingro, but is caught by Vincent on the way out. Neil then abandons Edie, and a chase ensues, and Vincent eventually shoots Neil. They shake hands, and Neil dies. Oh, and Chris almost gets caught by the cops, but doesn't, and he gets away, and him and his wife, I think, are cool, or something. The end.
Yay.
I really should play that at the end of the recap just to be like, hey, it's done.
It's over.
It's over. That's after show information there. Anyway, what'd you think of the movie?
This movie is long.
It is very long.
But I realized it's rather intentional. I think it could have still been shorter.
Yeah.
But the intention of this movie, and it's something that I kind of struggled with, not struggled, but kind of went back and forth on as I was like thinking about it after watching it, of this movie isn't about the heist. It's not about the cop catching the thief. It is about showing two sides of this life.
Yeah.
One being the cop, one being the thief, and showing that they are essentially the same. They just chose different paths.
Maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I almost feel they have to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's showing that they have to be the same. They are.
Yeah.
They are, by all metrics, kind of the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like one is one who has shunned humanity and one who embraces humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the major difference between them. Because, like, all the flaws of Vincent and everything, at every chance he gets, he's looking to embrace humanity. So when they find, it's almost like when the movie starts and he's talking to the other cops with the first crime scene and the bodies of the guards and stuff, he's a little callous about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he's, seeing how Lauren feels hurt and then embraces the mother of the murdered woman, and then as it's going along, he's finding himself deeper into humanity. And the funny part is that Robert De Niro's character, Neil, is also falling deeper into humanity, but he's trying to fight it at all costs.
Right.
And it's just it's a really interesting movie. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this. I feel like this is expert mode for, like, Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think this is a really good movie. And I think the idea that they're trying to, I think the vision and I don't want to say message. I don't think they're trying to, like, say a message, but I think the story that they're trying to tell of this coin, this two-sided coin, is really good. I think what they're doing is really, really good. But to get there, there's a bunch of things that, like, happen that are either, if you don't think about it, it's okay. But if you think about it for just a second, you're like, that is really cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
This would never happen.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some of those things that you're just like, oh no, don't let me think about this for more than a second. Because if I do, then stuff starts to fall apart.
Right.
But other than some of those things, it's a pretty solid movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it had my attention. It took a little bit for me to get into it, and then once I was really into it, I was like, I can't stop watching this movie. I have to finish this, like, now.
Yeah. No, I think, to go off of what you're saying of how they are both, like, one is embracing humanity, the other is trying not to.
Right.
Not to. I'm skipping to one of our last questions, which is a quote, but I think one that's pertinent to that conversation is Justine when talking to Vincent, and she says, "You don't live with me; you live among the remains of the dead, or remains of dead people. You sift through." Yeah. It's just an interesting, and she brings that up, I think, or that
twice.
idea gets brought up twice, and it's an interesting thing of, like, he's trying to embrace humanity because he's surrounded by death,
right?
And like you said, Neil is pushing humanity away because death kind of follows him. Like he wants to be able to.
He wants to be
like,
able to, and it's not just get away. I think it's so that he can do his job appropriately.
Yeah.
Which means if he cares about humans too much, he won't do his job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's surrounded, like his entire team of people all have families or relationships or some sort. And there's the scene where they're at the dinner table and all of them are laughing and having a good time. And he has this moment of just like,
I don't have this.
I don't have this. I want it, but I don't want it. Like it's this interesting thing. But yeah, I think there are some things that they could have cut out or cut shorter, and we still would have gotten the same idea of what this movie, what the story is trying to tell us. Yeah, I think overall, it's not necessarily. There wasn't any one scene or any like shots or anything specific that like stood out as like, whoa, that's an amazing thing. I think as a whole, it's just a really well put together movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, it's a curious thought. I wonder how much of that is when a well put together movie is made, that maybe the distinction of stellar shots is less because as a whole it's packaged really well. Mm-hmm. And some of the movies that we've had issues with, often our points are there's aspects of this that are like really amazing, good.
Yeah.
Like this scene was really beautiful, whatever it might be. And I think this whole movie kind of runs really well. For how long it is, the pacing is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It's super good pacing. Things happen when they need to happen. Just a couple of points of, I guess my contention is I think Breeden is a weird character in that he's there to be that replacement for Trejo, who they could have done the scene where they could have done the scene where Neil recognizes Breeden without the setup of Breeden.
Right.
Without his wife, without the scammy diner owner. They could have done all of that without that. But I almost feel as though I don't fully understand, and someone could explain it to me, and I'd gladly take the answer, and maybe you have a thought on it. But it just feels as though they did that just to put more weight onto when he died. Because otherwise you're like, well, I didn't care about this character. But then we see this random character very early on in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Early on, that's relative. It's within the first 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's on camera for a minute or two. Mm-hmm. And then we don't see him for an hour and 20 minutes. And then we see him again as this character that he recognizes. Mm-hmm. And I guess just that little bit and, seeing his wife cry afterwards, it was just there to be like, hey, here's some feelings. Let's care about this character.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the thought that I just had was knowing that this is based off of a book, which we just learned a moment ago. This feels like a movie that was paced to match the book.
Right.
And so when you're reading the book, knowing about this character, getting his backstory is part of the reading experience so that you're attached to him. And so it felt like Michael Mann in creating the movie wanted to keep some of that book telling style of introducing characters, giving us more backstory, which you don't often get in book adaptations. But I agree, from a viewing perspective, there's only a little bit more emotion from the scenes from him being put in there before. Other than that, unimportant. I feel like even Lauren, to some extent, the stepdaughter, there's like, we see her at the beginning, there's the whole drama between her dad not, like her getting ready and her dad not showing up. And then there's conversation about Lauren. And then we see her randomly. This scene threw me off so much because of like the way that they pass time and do cuts. Sometimes I was like, wait, where are we right now? It's nighttime. There's one scene where we see her get picked up by Vincent because she was at a bus stop or something. And that's during the day. And then it cuts back to nighttime. So we just get like this one, this is the thing that happened in this day. And it just kind of seems like what was the point of that?
Right.
And then we don't see her again until the end.
Right.
So there's some stuff there where I was like, why did we even get those scenes, or at least that middle scene, when there's not much more happening with her character? And then I was thinking that, and then an hour later, we get her in the hotel room and that drama.
Right.
And it's showing Vincent's life outside of being a cop. And that's valuable to building his character. At the same time, if we didn't have that, would we have really lost anything in the story? I don't know.
Right. They could have shown it in a way that maybe didn't either take so much time or whatever it might have been.
It felt more important than what actually ended up happening. Like we get the scene of Waingro killing the girl.
Right.
And then shortly after that is when we see Vincent picking up Lauren and Lauren expressing like, oh, I just wanted to be by myself. My brain went to, is she going to somehow end up with Waingro? Like that's what I thought the story was going to lead to. And it didn't lead there. There
were so many false leads, I feel, and maybe it was just my assumption, and maybe it's on me. Maybe I'm the problem. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. There, I had to go.
We did it.
One, I thought they really made it seem as though Waingro was the dad.
Or something, yeah.
They kept making inferences of...
That's true, because they're like, oh, he's not going to show up.
And then he didn't show up, but then they showed Waingro right away after as though, well, this is where her dad is. But then he ended up having no connection to them whatsoever. And, yeah, Waingro, his whole story is really confusing in this. Because... yeah, I feel like they could have told a lot of the same story without some of these things, but
there's so many moving parts. Like,
it's hard to follow. It is hard to follow.
At one point, because Van Zandt is, there's a lot of him early in the movie, and then he disappears for a really long time,
and then he comes back.
There's a scene with him again, and we're like, wait, I thought we were done with this guy. Yeah. What's going on?
Also, I think we had bad information. Before we recorded, we talked about how they're working on a sequel, Heat 2, back on the stove. And it said something about a book, right? I don't think it's a book. So Mann wrote the original script for Heat in 1979, basing it on Chicago police officer Chuck Adamson's pursuit of the criminal Neil McCulley, whom De Niro's character is named. The script was first used in television pilot developed by Mann, which became the 1989 television film LA Takedown after the pilot did not receive its series order. In 1999, he revisited the script and turned it into a feature film, etc., etc.
What? But the thing that I saw, so misinformed, we did not learn that it's
so from what this says, it is not a book.
I am looking at a thing that says #1 New York Times bestseller, Heat 2, a novel.
Oh, so maybe someone wrote a book based off Heat.
Michael Mann and Meg Gardiner. So maybe
that's what it, maybe okay. They're just
first...
turning the movie. They're turning the book into a movie, which the book is the unmade sequel.
My brain hurts now.
So this is the Cursed Child. This is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, or whatever.
So, Heat was a movie.
Yes.
That maybe got adapted into a book, and then somebody wrote Heat 2.
Michael Mann, apparently. And Meg Ryan? Who was it?
Yeah. I forgot. I'm already away from it. Whatever. So
Heat 2 still cooking.
Now I'm in the microwave.
The rest of this podcast, I am just going to randomly come up with subtitles for Heat 2.
Meg Gardiner?
Meg Gardiner. What has she done?
Not much.
Oh.
Released a novel in 2022. So it's
called Heat kind 2?
Of a recent book.
Oh. What a weird... So...
I'm so confused.
So if I'm tracking this, it sounds as though Meg Gardiner, and unless Michael Mann had a hand in writing it, maybe he gets a writing credit because it's based off his characters.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially wrote a fanfic, and now that's getting turned into a movie.
I guess. Well,
wow.
It's speculated that it's going to be turned into a movie. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I've IMDb said it's in pre-production.
Okay. Doing the research.
I just made a really weird. I made a really weird noise, and I just want to apologize for
it. Doing my research live right now. Yes, Heat was never turned into a book, but Heat 2 is a book, which is very confusing. All right.
You know what? You know what? This is the perfect outcome for a movie like Heat. It makes about as much sense sometimes as some of the stuff happening in Heat.
So I retract my statement of it echoes
the book,
a book turning into a movie. However, I do stand by Michael Mann wrote this in a very book-like fashion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It does feel as though each scene is a chapter turn in some way. So we have the introduction of the team, and Neil is stealing the ambulance. Chris is buying the explosives. Vincent is mauling his wife. And we understand his family dynamic a little bit. And then we're introduced to Waingro, Chirito, Trejo. And then the first job is done. And then that's the first chapter. Or maybe the first couple chapters, depending on how you
yeah.
Some of these chapters nowadays, it used to be a chapter was long. I don't know. I don't read books. Anyway, then we go to forget the exact timeline, but there's the diner scene. That itself is its own chapter. There's the crime scene. That itself is its own chapter. There's Neil meeting with Nate. Like, it does really have that kind of... This movie feels, for how good it is, it does feel very... I don't think it's bad necessarily, but it does feel as though if someone was regurgitating this, as I did, a lot of instances would be, this happened. Oh, actually, here, I have a better way of putting it. So they did a documentary on South Park. I know this feels like totally out of right field. But Matt Stone and Trey Parker is kind of the writer of it all. And their episode was too long. And the advice he was giving, and he's given this to college students and the sort, was when you have scenes that say this happened and this happens and this happens and this happens, you have to get writing to a point where it gets to the point where this happens, so this happens, therefore this happens, then this happens because of that. This movie is the screenwriter school guide of this happened, therefore this happened, then this happened, so this happens. Each thing leads to the next portion. And even though there's a lot of stuff going on, you could track the line from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie of why it happened.
Yeah.
Or at least how it works within the story. There's, as much as I want to say there's stuff that feels like it could have been cut out, when something happens, there was so Breeden was introduced because he was going to be used in the bank job.
Right.
Because Trejo was going to get made by some cops. So he wouldn't be available. So this was, okay, when the job happens, one of the issues is Trejo is not going to be there. How do we make that happen? Oh, the cops have security detail or observation detail, whatever it is, on all of them. And just the Trejo one just happens to be the best one out of all the groups. Because all the others were able to escape it. But Trejo wasn't. Racism? Maybe. But you have this nice line that happens of, it's not crime happens and the cops are good and the informant gives the information and it's, the job is done with this particular person, and then the cops find it, and because the cops are good, they have the right informant who then gives them the right information, who then does this and therefore this and the blah, 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 blah. It's almost like he was writing from the end of the movie back.
Which is, in the screenwriting class I've taken, that is kind of how you have to know how your story ends
for you to get there. I find that very difficult to write.
Yeah.
Because when I get to the end and then I'm trying to lead to how to build to the end, I'm always like, but the end happened. I've reached I've climaxed. I'm ready to take a nap. Like, I don't need to do anymore. I mean, story-wise.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm not Al Pacino, for goodness sake. Yeah. So I do think there is something quite admirable for, even though there was a lot of filling in it. All of it was leading kind of to the same spot. All of it was leading to build to this climax, which was so interesting. I don't know if I want to say it was like tired to do so or trite to do so, but there is this emphasis of Neil saying several times like his rule. Like he
Mm-hmm.
says it to Chris, but Chris goes like, she's my everything. I don't want to do this without her. And he accepts that, but he says, this is why I live the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says it again, and then he says it to Vincent, and
Mm-hmm.
then Vincent challenges him on it, and there's finally some like hesitation from him. But then he says it again later and then completely goes against it.
Yeah. I think that that's part of his story is him, like he has this thing that he lives by.
Right.
And then it's him
I
maybe
don't know how
realizing
to
that.
navigate. I don't know how to navigate when someone has that ideal and then they keep repeating that ideal to then break it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's story. We don't know Neil. The story has to tell this about Neil. And you know, we're on this path with him to learn that he's disconnected, but he's clearly unhappy. He
Mm-hmm.
has all this money, he has this beautiful house, but he's alone and he doesn't
Yeah.
like it. And that's how that works. So, in the grand scope of it, it makes perfect sense. It just seems like for me, it just feels as though if it was me saying this thing I believed in, no, but I guess that's kind of how people are. People say these things that we are, but then we go against them pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think because I think this movie made a point of, I mean, his first conversation with Edie was her asking him, don't you get lonely? And he says, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. And it really is, his story is him battling this way that he's been living,
Right.
because he has lived his life by this rule that somebody else told him, that was, don't get attached to anybody. And that's what he's been doing. That's what's kept him alive. That's what's kept him able to move around quickly.
Right.
Everybody on his team is putting down roots. They have family, they have kids. They're doing the thing that he's like, this is not what we're supposed to do. And then he realizes, I am lonely.
Right.
And so it's really the story of him battling this rule that he's been living by, but also battling his loneliness.
Well, and maybe we can look at this just slightly different because maybe the realization of his loneliness is becoming more apparent because it does seem as though this is the last job.
Yeah.
And because it's the last job, then he now is facing with,
If I don't have this, what do I have?
right. And the end of the movie really is he can't escape it.
Mm-hmm.
It is who he is
Mm-hmm.
to the point of death.
Yeah.
Because he had the opportunity to run away.
With Edie, yeah.
No. Not just that. Well, he had the opportunity to run away with Edie, but he had the opportunity to run away whilst being chased by Vincent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was an opportunity. But also to note, Vincent is a Superman because there were points where he had what felt like a minute lead.
Mm-hmm.
And Vincent was right there with him. And I was just like,
fast.
Yeah, I was just like, what? How do we? Is he the Flash? Anyway, what were some things you liked about the film overall? Like now that we've kind of talked about the film overall, the philosophy behind it, what were some aspects that you really enjoyed?
I think the actors in this were really great. Like I watched a trailer for it. I just randomly pulled one up,
right?
Because I had never actually seen this one before, and I kept getting the wrong movie in my head when I was thinking about it. So it's like I just need to watch a trailer to make sure that I have the.
Was
what?
it Scent of a Woman?
No,
where he goes, ooh-ah!
No. And so I watched it, but it was the DVD release of it or something. And it was a horrible trailer where it was just it was a montage of scenes of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and the voice actor, or not the voice, but the voiceover narrator guy was basically just like, these two stars on the screen for the first time together. And like, that was the whole trailer. And I was that was dumb. Why did I watch? But I mean, there was a reason for that, because they both did a great job.
Yeah.
All the other actors were really good in this. I think, like you said, once it was slow to get invested into it, but once you were in, you had to get through to the end of the story.
Right.
I think, like I said earlier, there's not necessarily a specific moment or scene that I was like, oh wow, this was really well put together. I think the whole movie it's just a good blueprint of storytelling. And while it does have its flaws here and there, and while it is slow, especially compared to modern cinema,
right,
the way that it was filmed was really well done.
Right.
It did everything right in that way. I think the biggest thing that I didn't care for with the filmmaking element of it was the sound mixing was kind of all over the place.
And I agree with that fully, because I had headphones on while I was watching it, and there were moments where I'm like,
quiet.
Even with headphones, I'm struggling to hear some of this. What is happening? And then I was not the biggest fan of the soundtrack.
Yeah, it was fine.
There were times where it was great, where it was very pre Hans Zimmer Dark Knight stuff, where they just had that eerie like string sound going through that really built the tension.
Sometimes it was so subtle.
Yeah, it was, but there was, you could feel tension building, and it took you a minute to go, oh, there's a sound happening. There's a thing building this tension. And then there were times where it was genuinely, this music sucks. But the music, that part happened much later in the film. I'd probably say the first hour and a half was good. And then there just got to be these little aspects where it really, I think, hurt the scene.
Yeah.
Which you never want the music to hurt the scene.
Yeah. There were moments where they purposely cut all the sound except for really quiet, that string going in the background. And there was subtle movements that you could hear the sound of. Right. And those were really good at building tension.
Was excellent.
But it was still so quiet.
Yeah.
The people were talking to each other, and I was like, huh?
Huh?
What was that?
Speak up.
At one point,
I
think 2/3 into the movie, I finally just put the subtitles on because I could not get through it without reading it.
I had the subtitles on with headphones, and I started the subtitles within the first half an hour. The scene where Neil finds Chris in his living room.
Oh yeah.
When Val Kilmer says the sun rises and sets with her, for the life of me, I could not gather what he was saying. I just couldn't hear it. I was like, what with her? The sun rises and what with her? What?
Yeah.
And then I put the captions on, and I was like, oh, that was a really beautiful line. I wish I would have heard it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it was so quiet all of the movie, except for certain moments
Those friggin'
where it
airplanes.
was so loud
The
and
airplanes were so loud.
it was ridiculous. Speaking of the soundtrack, I have to ask you, because I have feelings about the song at the very end that takes us into the credits. Are you
Okay.
familiar with what song this was?
I can get real familiar with it in just a moment.
Yeah,
You can vamp.
it's a song by Moby, and it is like God, um, the wind blowing, God blowing the wind. Like it's something interesting. Um,
God blowing the wind in my butt.
yeah. Um, but in this movie, this may be the first movie that it was used in. Uh, it, I think it hits the right way. I don't love the song. Yes, that's the one. God moving over the face of the waters. There we go. Um,
Whoa. So that is a third party song.
yeah,
That's crazy. Cause I thought it was just part of the soundtrack and I was really thrown off by it because it's the effects sound very similar because there's a lot of
hmm
synths in this, but it was so much bigger than anything else. And it felt very dramatic. It felt very dramatic. I want to give it that,
yeah,
whether it was, whether Moby's aiming for that, which I'm sure he is by way of the title.
yeah. The thing that I just read said it wasn't originally supposed to be the song used here, and then they switched it out. After like later in the game. Um, but I feel like it's a really interesting piece. It's it's very synth like the rest of the soundtrack, except for the strings. In this movie, it feels like it hits right.
Mm-hmm.
It was recently used in the Gran Turismo movie at the very end, and that was the first time I heard it, and I hated it. To me, in that scenario, it sounded like the most like royalty free synth track that you could find.
Wait, which
So
movie?
in Gran Turismo,
Like the racing?
yeah,
Ew.
it was used at the like as the climactic like end of the movie
Right.
celebration kind of thing, and I was like, this feels so like flat
Right.
compared to what should be happening.
And then this movie used it.
Watching it in this movie, I'm like, I see how this works.
Right.
This works in the way that it is done because it's not really a triumphant song, but
Right.
it is a good like we've crescendoed. This is the end. This is the finale. Sit with your thoughts as this music swells.
Right.
So I just was curious if you had any thoughts about that particular track because your comment
I
about the
think
soundtrack.
I think you're right in that it worked. And I think in a lot of ways it worked because I think it was one of the things that like proved Justine right, but also brought a new aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she says, "You don't live with me, you live among the remains of the dead, of dead people. You sift through the detritus,
Detritus, yeah.
detritus. You read the terrain, you search for the signs of passing, for the scent of your prey, and then you hunt them down. The only That's the only thing you're committed to. The rest is the mess you leave as you pass through." And what's interesting is the end of the movie was that is true, but also there was redemption within his own life meaning he could live his life and still be good at what he does. But it also shows that the coin has been flipping the entire time of the movie, and we are seeing both sides of the movie, and then at the end it lands. And it lands on humanity, because even though he lives among the remains of dead, including those that he causes death to, he is still searching and finding humanity.
Yeah.
Because that moment where they hold hands is honest. Like, there was a bit of me where when they were chasing themselves down, I was genuinely like, I don't know who I'm rooting for. Like, it'd be cool for Neil to get away, even though he's like clearly not a great guy. It seems as though he's finding redemption, and maybe he can go back to Edie and redeem himself there. But then also it was Vincent has shown that even though he has his issues, he's still a good guy. Like, he's a really good guy. And so there was this moment where it was like, I don't know who I'm supposed to be cheering for in this. And then when Vincent proved that he was very good at his job, seeing the shadow and making the move, it just showed that even in this dark moment where, like, you could kind of call them arch nemesis in this moment, where he sees someone on the other side of the aisle who is just as good. Like, he admires him. He admires Neil.
Yeah. The whole conversation they have together in the cafe ends with Vincent being like, hey, now that we've had this conversation, you're a real person. And now I'm not going to like the fact that I have to take you down. And even though Neil's response is, I won't hesitate.
Right.
I think there is a moment where
Do you think he hesitates?
I don't think he hesitates, but I think there is kind of this moment of him recognizing the respect that he has for the other side.
I think that respect comes after he gets shot. I think that's his raising to the hand. I actually do think there might be, maybe hesitation's not the word, but maybe an acceptance that he has met his match. I think that's definitely there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if hesitation's the right word, but he does seem more on his heels than he has the entire film.
Yeah.
And then Vincent still overwhelms and overcomes. And when he holds his hand, Neil dies, and is it sunrise? Something's happening in the distance. And then that music hits. He really has a moment of, I think, being a man of his word, in that, you know, he did what he did, but he wasn't happy about it. Like, there was no happiness in what happened. It was just, he is then faced again with humanity, which humanity is messy. And the only joy he has is that, you know, Lauren is going to be okay. And that him and his wife have kind of made friends. It sounds like their marriage is not going to work.
No.
But they at least made up in some way, shape, or form. But he's still going to have to go back to a life that isn't fulfilling him in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's that weird thing where, like, no one wins, but maybe that's the point.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking about, is that there's not a protagonist in this movie. There are definitely antagonists.
Yeah.
But there's not any, you're not rooting for one side or the other. It's, oh, I wonder how this is going to play out for this guy. And I wonder how it's going to play out for this guy. We're kind of rooting for both of them, even though we know one of them is quote unquote the bad guy.
Right.
But yeah, like even Chris,
I think
to
he
some
becomes,
extent, we're like, hey, you're not a great dude, but
there's
we
redemption
don't
for
we
him.
we want we want to see the redemption for him, and we want
Right.
to see the redemption or the fall for what's his name?
Waingro.
Breeden.
Oh, Breeden.
We're hoping that, like, oh, is he going to choose to go back down this path, or is he going to choose for Waingro? We're like, kill that guy.
I'm so, if I can speak about something I didn't like, I don't like that Waingro was the catalyst for Neil's ultimate doom. Waingro, I hate him. I hate him so much. And I would have loved Vincent to have been the one to do what needed to be done, or to catch him or something, because I don't know.
It doesn't feel right for Neil to be the one to get.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know what just doesn't fit is the Waingro scene at the motel with the girl. I don't know why that scene is in the movie. And the reason I say I don't know why is because, like, it gives a moment of humanity for Vincent to, like, hug the mother.
Comfort the mom, yeah.
Comfort the mom. But and I say that, I guess now, with Neil being the one who kills Waingro, that scene feels unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. Because all it tells us is
Waingro is a serial killer.
Is just horrible.
Yeah. Like, he's a serial killer. He's a bad man. We didn't need that.
Mm-mm.
We didn't need that. The idea that Black Flag guy, Henry Rollins' character, the fact that he found Waingro or beat Trejo, who then Trejo led them to Waingro, whatever it may have been, was still believable. Even without that scene. Like, if you skip that whole scene, Waingro having double-crossed Neil is not that weird, because Neil tried to kill him. And he seems like and Waingro seems like a dirtbag anyway, so him giving Neil up feels totally on par. But then to say Waingro is a serial killer and has been killing sex workers the same way, brutal, indecent, I don't know. It just doesn't really add anything. To me, it doesn't really add anything to the plot. It doesn't add anything to the characters. If Vincent had been the one to, like, if instead of having Lauren, because they're not going to make it. Justine and Vincent aren't going to make it. So don't make them make up. Don't make them make up. If Lauren had not been found at all, whatever it was, and Vincent had found some clues to connect this guy that they were observing to the murders, and then at the point of arresting him and bringing him out, and then you see Neil crossing paths with them, and that's what sparks the chase. Fire alarm goes off, all this stuff. I feel like you'd have a little more connection. You feel like, okay, Waingro is taken care of. Vincent solved the case. Vincent's great. It just adds something to it. But then also, that's my perspective of trying to add, like, a good guy to this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it is that I'm not lining up with. I feel like maybe it is that distinction of like a straightforward good guy and a straightforward bad guy. And a movie doesn't need to have that. Like this doesn't need to
No.
have that. But that scene, there are aspects of this movie that feel like they're building to something that the payoff just doesn't feel in line with what the original scene was. And maybe that's the issue.
Yeah, it goes with what you said earlier of there's a lot of setup for a payoff that never happens, or you'd expect it to go one direction and it doesn't go that direction. I totally agree with Waingro. If he didn't show up again until he walks into Van Zant's office and is like, "Hey,
I got some info for you.
I got some info for you." We already know he's a dirtbag. We already know that he sucks. And so for him to do that, then it's like, okay, great, whatever.
Well, and then too, that scene would have been good in that, like if that's when we saw him, we would have been like, that's where he escaped to. You would have been like instantly, but the fact that he escaped to go commit murder just feels.
Yeah. And so to what you were saying is when they introduce the idea that he is a murderer and this isn't the first time that they've found someone murdered in this way, that it's a case that has been open for a while, it does make it feel like in a roundabout way, they're going to stumble upon the fact that they're connected.
Right. And it never is.
And that never happens. And so Waingro is just there.
Hey,
and this extra
maybe it's
thing,
more like real life than we think.
And maybe, but it's not satisfying for
the statistics on crimes actually being solved is very small. It's like less than 10%. So maybe this is just what real life feels like.
Yeah. Maybe that's the case and we just need to get over it. But there are certain expectations, I think, that we have watching movies,
right,
that it should be connected. And with how connected everything else is, to have this one thing that's like, wait, you guys aren't even on to him for this thing. You just know that he's the person that leaked the information and have no idea that he's connected in any other way.
You know why I think I don't like it more is because we're supposed to understand that Vincent is like the god of detectives. Like he is insanely good. He sees the scene. He understands the scenarios. He reads it.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this case, with a brutal murder of a young woman, nothing, not a single thing is determined from it. Just, something switched. Hold on. That was weird. Somehow my audio changed. Luckily I was talking, so I don't think that was a problem. But he's supposed to be this great detective, and then in that case it's literally like, oh well, I guess it just happens again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's that same guy. Oh well. Like they have no evidence, they have nothing, and in the other scenarios they are getting so much. The fact that when they were in the container yard and he figured out that they got caught.
Right.
And then this murder case, he has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wild. Like it doesn't flow right. It doesn't make sense. And, personal opinion, I guess, but I think it would have been better if they were able to connect the dots a little better on it.
Yeah, there's definitely the big emotional moment that happens, and it shows us a side of him that I think is important to his character, Vincent's character, of how he responds to the mother and everything. But in every other scenario, we see him taking charge on the scene of like, hey, do this. This is what's going to happen, but do it anyway. We're going to get some pushback. We need the answers.
Right.
So and so do the, like, he's just like telling everybody what to do and how to do it.
Right.
In this one, he's not he's not like, hey, have we talked to the hotel manager? Have we talked to blah, blah, blah? Like, there's nothing that happens.
Yeah.
And it feels,
Well,
I don't
and
know.
that might be with I might be second guessing myself now, because that might be connected with the stuff that was happening prior to it. It felt like this happened right after they were having like a good time. And so I feel
Yeah.
like he just wasn't in the right mindset. And then when the mother approaches him and he has to hold her back, I think that was him realizing like, I'm out of it and I need to get back onto this, because there are people who are getting hurt. There are people who are being impacted by what we do. And
Yeah.
then for him to go back to the restaurant and have the argument with Justine, I feel like that's where that's connected. So maybe that aspect makes sense. I just don't know, like, why does it have to be Waingro? Why did they show
Yeah.
that? Maybe they could have had the same scene, just cut the Waingro part.
I was just thinking that they it didn't need to be Wayne Grove for it to have the same emotional pull for Vincent's character.
Yeah.
And that then led into a very important conversation between him and Justine and that whole
Right.
thing. But yeah, it was weird that it was Wayne Grove and that lead didn't go anywhere.
Right.
I was very disappointed about the use of Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
There's a scene like he's introduced as an important part of the team.
He's
Like,
yeah.
he is the driver
Yeah.
of their team. He's a linchpin in like them being successful. And yet he's always on the outside of the shot.
Right.
The big conversation between
he's
Neil,
the token
Chris.
He's the token Mexican.
Yeah. Yeah. And Chorito is that they're having their conversation of, do we do this? We know the cops are on us. Do we still go through with it? And the three of them are having to like, yeah, man, I'm in. This has to happen. And the other one's like, I'm in with if you are. He said, no, you have to make this decision yourself. Blah, 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 blah. And then Chorito says, I'm in. And then it like goes to a wide shot and Trejo's there and he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And like he's been there the whole time and he didn't get the decency of being in the shot the whole time.
Right. Maybe I missed it at the party when they're all together. Was Trejo there?
Yeah.
With Anna?
So when they're showing off the like ring or whatever it was that Chorito got for his wife, Anna comes around the corner and is like, oh, look at that. And then there's like one shot where you see him and her sitting next to each other or interacting. So he is there.
Yeah.
But he's always just out of frame.
Right. Because it like, some of the weight of his death feels a little shortchanged.
Yeah.
And Anna's death for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are kind of they're token. They're very secondary. They're there to just be there.
I feel like that should have been a more emotional moment than Breeden's death.
Yeah.
Because Trejo was there from the beginning.
Right.
And so, one, as a character, they should have done him better.
Yeah.
Two, as Danny Trejo, they should have done him better.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even the machete yet. And I think on top of that too, you have this moment where Neil literally has to kill his friend
Mm-hmm.
to take him out of his misery.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels, oddly enough, the one shot or gunshot that is off screen.
Mm-hmm.
There's gore, there's everything else. The one thing, so Danny Trejo's off screen for the most part, even his death.
Yeah.
Which, that's nothing. I know that's for the effect of it. If I may, yeah, I think that Danny Trejo got shortchanged for sure. I mean, his name was Trejo, for goodness sake. It felt like they were just like, just call him his name. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think.
By the way, this is a tangent, but if you haven't heard Danny Trejo's story, it is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like that guy has an interesting story.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
He was actually a criminal.
Yeah.
You know?
Like big time.
Yeah. But he is thoroughly I feel like if you want to talk about can people actually change?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Danny Trejo is a good example of, I mean, it's hard, but it seems as though you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because he really did change his life. He really turned it around. And for him to be, you know, an actor from all of that is wild. Okay, so it is not his first movie by any means. I was just trying to see. Yeah, but this was the first one that I think he was kind of a bigger character. Yeah, because he's just playing criminals. But like prisoners, token Mexicans, token cholos, like that's what it is. Desperado was kind of a big movie, but it was the same year, so it's hard to say whether that was Blood In, Blood Out. Actually, he was in that one, which was a pretty seen as a good movie as well. But like this was like the start of him kind of diving into that character that he is in more successful films.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a few years later, he's in 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford. Han Solo himself. I don't know. That was random. It's just the one I saw. One of the things I didn't like, I think Al Pacino's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're supposed to see him as, you know, good at his job and intense with his job, but a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
This scene, I'm going to play the audio, where he confronts Hank Azaria. Let's see if we can.
Yeah, that's.
Are you Alan Marciano?
Yeah, and who the fuck are you?
Who am I?
Hey,
Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, LAPD.
L.A., this is Las Vegas. You don't
Hold
have
on.
jurisdiction here.
Let's see.
Hey, I don't know who the fuck you guys think you're pushing.
Cut and dry. Or you go to work for us. Cut.
Where is it?
Who?
The lady you've been talking dirty to. Who? Are you a fucking owl? The lady you've been talking dirty to on telephone every day last week.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone, for the bad sound.
Who needs to? Because your ass is on a plane back to New Jersey, Jago.
I just... Why'd I get mixed up with that bitch?
She got a great ass.
That oh god. that took me completely out of the movie. It's just just
the two scenes really that he's being the like intimidating cop is so
they don't work.
It doesn't work. He has his like.
I think he can do it without
things that he says.
It's because he's doing the Al Pacino yell.
Mm-hmm.
Like Al Pacino has a yell, and I don't know. I don't know if it is me personally that I even though I am a very clear showing male, I am of the masculine sort. I like dislike. I can make friends with men. Clearly, you and I are friends. But I hate having conversations with men, especially when they go this direction.
Okay. I was like,
no, because like I think the like stereotypical man, is something I do not connect with. And I say that because it's like, I'm a man, I'm heterosexual, like I live my life as a man, all of that. But there's this weird thing of the socialization of masculinity. I avoid like the plague. Like I can't have that conversation. So when someone talks to me about a woman and just goes anywhere near like sexuality, I'm immediately like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't care what you think of people. I don't care any of that. You can talk about all of these other male things, and I still don't care about, like, I just don't care. So I say that because this scene, he could have done it differently. But how he does it is how I think my brain interprets everyone who does this. Like when someone talks about someone's ass, I hear
Great ass.
like that. I hear that.
That was the perfect
Yeah, that was nice
clip grab that you got there.
But and I feel like he just seems unhinged. Like he seems crazy at that point. And I don't know if it discredits his credibility as this great detective or great I personally do not know. I'm sure people like this scene. I will tell you a backstory on this a little bit, though. Apparently, this was Hank Azaria's first scene that he filmed. No one told him how he was going to act. So when Al Pacino came out and said that, and then Hank Azaria says,
Great ass. And you got your head.
wait, what is he? He says something. He like whispers something. Oh, he's just like blank on his face. That's all real. But there's a point where I think he goes like, oh my God. That's 100% real. Cause he just he had no clue what Al Pacino was going to do.
Right.
And so his response is just like shocked face. And then once he gets the moment, just, oh my God. And all of that is apparently very real, which is I'm fine with those. I think those are great. Like that's, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I agree. That moment, and there was the one earlier where he's talking to the other guy. That both of those.
I don't understand. That threw me off for a loop because I was like, I can't tell if you're being racist. I don't necessarily think you are, but I kind of think he was also when he was talking to Tone Loc in the club, getting the information. That whole scene was a little, I was like, what? Hey, if this is how you talk to criminals, I don't actually think you're getting your job done. Yeah. Anyway, what's up?
An interesting thing that I read that I agree makes for a very interesting production of this is that apparently with the gunshots in the I think all of the gunshots, or during the bank robbery specifically, instead of doing the shots in post, they just set up a bunch of mics around the area and captured the live gunshot
Blanks.
sounds to
Wow.
make it sound more like real and
Yeah.
visceral. And it
As
really
far as
did, like
sound
the way that
design,
it
that
was
was
echoing,
yeah.
and that was that scene.
I really
that
don't
scene
think
is a very interesting.
I really don't think they would have been able to do that in post. Not
No,
that well.
not to the extent that they did. Yeah.
Because you're right. Now thinking about it, the sound for that was one, very intense, but two, in the moment. You know, you have those scenes that are very in the moment, and yeah, that now that you mention it, that did add a lot to that scene. That scene also kind of took me out just a little bit because there were so many bystanders.
So
And
many.
the idea that the LAPD was also just shooting machine guns into bystanders is wild.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to reality than we think, but also, wow, no, I don't know. That just, and also it doesn't seem like a lot of bystanders were shot, which,
There was at least the one guy at the grocery store.
oh yeah.
Which I question if he was supposed to get shot or if he was an
just got
extra
in the
that
way.
just went. Could have happened.
It could have happened. Extras be wild, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene kind of took me out, simply because the cops' inability to protect the public, or at least visually appear to protect the public. I just feel like that's not protocol, or like something, like it just feels wrong.
It was interesting that they were verbally being like, hey, get down, move out of the way, blah, blah, blah. But then they were just shooting into
Cars that people were in.
That people were not safe. Yeah, I don't.
Also,
that seems crazy to me.
there was one part where I think it was Robert De Niro. He it was either Robert De Niro or Val Kilmer got behind a car, and then the driver of the car bailed, but there was also this moment where I genuinely was like, where'd that guy go? He didn't have enough time to make a what, but where'd he go?
Yeah.
He just disappeared. He didn't get shot? How didn't he get shot? Also, the believability that all of those police officers or whoever would have shot the doors of those cars and no one in the car would have been shot dead is crazy. I know they were metal back then, but that's wild.
Still, yeah.
Also, I will say, just to kind of put a period on this aspect of what maybe, I don't know if you have another egregious thing you didn't like, but I do. There's a scene. It is so bad that it took me out. It took me out of oh, sorry. Farted. No, I didn't. It was my computer. It'd be great if we farted like come on. I'm trying to find it real quick because I have to show you the shot, because it's just unbelievable that they thought this was a good idea. So there's a scene in the 1995 film Michael Mann's Heat, the one in which we're talking about. So it was in the hotel scene. It was right before he found Lauren. It was right before he found Lauren.
Okay.
I'm now remembering that. Let's see. So he goes there. Oh, is that it? No, go there. Hotel. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to share it. Share my screen. Because I want Tristan to see this more than I want everyone else to see it. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. So, he sees right there. Right there. Did you see it?
There wasn't him.
But it was awful.
There's no way that's him, right?
No, that's not him. I swear to you, audience, if you watch this movie and you go to 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 8 seconds, Al Pacino's character, Vincent, is in his hotel room. He just passed a giant puddle of water. The fact that he didn't notice that immediately befuddles me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't like this whole scene a bit. So he does that. He then walks to the balcony to look out at Los Angeles because he just told his team Neil is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Neil is gone. So I feel like this is him looking out into the city and almost looking for Neil. Just looking out into the city and going, you're not there anymore, or something.
Yeah.
It's a moment. It's a really big moment of reflection. And so they show him, and then as he looks out into the city, they turn the camera to look out into the city, and I swear to you, they've got a mannequin or something because nothing in this movement at all looks remotely human. The person has completely different hair.
There's a couple things about this
It's
that are really bad.
Really tall. So here we go. Look at his movement. It's so bad.
It's just the head. Okay, to describe it to people, it's the back over the shoulder shot, but Al Pacino himself is like moving like a normal person. His whole body is in the movement. In this cutaway, it's the back of this person and their head is just moving like almost like an animatronic of it, just like goes left, goes right. Like it's pretty bad.
I almost glossed over it. And then the reason it stuck out to me is because Al Pacino has essentially like a pompadour that doesn't have any hair product in it. Mm-hmm. So it has a big top and then it's slicked back.
Yeah.
The person in the shot clearly has just slicked back hair.
Yeah. And
the space between, and Al Pacino is wearing a suit jacket and he's not a big guy. So like the distance between the suit jacket, his neck, and his hairline is short.
Mm-hmm.
They got a giraffe. His neck is like 5 inches long.
I'm pretty sure that dude's wearing a wig too.
Yeah, it's not real hair.
It looks it's weird.
So bad.
Gonna add some more to analyzing this shot. Nothing's in focus.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get away with showing some random ass guy.
It's a shot of the city, but it's a green screen and it's meant to be a background thing. So nothing's in focus there. And the thing that should be in focus, if not the background, is the person, but it's not Al Pacino. So it's also out of focus. And so therefore you have two layers of everything out of focus. And it's a weird shot.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you could have just done the shot of LA without the balcony, without just like his POV instead of showing him. And maybe it would have had this, like, the intended effect.
Yeah, it may have been better if they, instead of doing a guy on a green screen, if they just comped in like the hotel window looking out into the city or
Right.
something that would have been slightly better.
Yeah, I don't know what they felt they needed to fix in doing, because they're trying to fix something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they did have the shot, and maybe the lighting was bad, whatever it may have been.
Or they forgot to get it, and they're like, "Oh, we need
that's what I
something."
mean. They're fixing something. And it just feels like maybe this didn't need to be fixed. Maybe you could have just had him doing that. Maybe you could have had like a closer shot of like a cars driving through, something to give you the idea of LA, and then going back to him. Whatever it may have been, I feel like this was a misstep in an almost otherwise fantastic, like production-wise, this movie editing, we can say sound like a C. Like the sound sucks. It has some really good aspects, but overall, it's not great for the movie. Cinematography and editing, solid for the most. Like, it's visually a very enticing movie. Like, you don't want to look away because you feel like you're missing something. That's a good movie. That's a good edit. That's good cinematography. This scene, that shot took me so out of the movie, especially because he's about to find his stepdaughter, attempted to kill herself in the tub. Right after that.
Yeah.
Literally right after that. It's just maybe skip it. I don't know. Maybe have him go out, open the thing, turn around, and then notice the water. Maybe skip the like looking out into the city.
I don't know if I could ever step on wet carpet and not recognize that I'm stepping on wet carpet.
Even with shoes on. Because that is soaked. It is soaked. Also, is the water off?
No. I think the water was still running.
Was it still running? Because, like...
That's why it was overflowing.
He doesn't think she's there. He has no reason to think she's there. But that scene doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, there was a couple I was like, how did she know? Like, he just left the house. I think that night is when he left the house. How does Laura know?
I mean,
what
he
hotel?
kicks when he stops by the bus stop and he kicks the TV out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's literally. Oh, okay. Hold on. We're really going above and beyond on this episode and examining scenes live.
Hey, a 3-hour movie. We got to go above and beyond.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the audio back on a little bit, not extra loud.
I do really appreciate the people standing on the street that were like,
Yeah.
Did you just see that? Yeah, he trudges through
Just an
So
ungodly
careful.
amount of water.
which maybe he's distracted. So okay, whatever. They could have just
But
had
the
this
window's
shot of
open
him.
too. Did he leave that? Maybe he left it open. And then the worst shot in the world. Awful. He's always chewing gum in this movie. Okay. He sees the water. I don't hear the water running. But so, a couple things on there. And it's a sound problem. Listen to the footsteps. He's walking in. He does not make any water sound on his footstep. But when he goes back over, we're really listen.
Oh yeah, there's
But
the
he
squish.
he absolutely walked on the water.
You
So
see
that's
his foot
yeah,
feet
that's
walking through it.
That's a little bit of movie, I don't know, magic or just kind of messing around with it, because his footprint would have or not his footprint, him stepping on the water would have made the water sound. It would have made the wet carpet sound. Like, he would have noticed that immediately, even with the distraction. I can't imagine like the world's greatest detective by standards of this movie just kind of like glossing over a clear discoloration on the ground. This is a like almost light gray carpet. It's just gray, like just bullet point gray, and then having 3 feet by 2.5 feet of darkness.
Yeah,
because it's
would
wet.
Not have avoided walking through
and
it.
He in fact stepped on it. Like, you could see his footprint in it as he walked away. No sound effect for it. Goes out, gets transported by a mannequin, transported back, then notices it, then makes the sound effect, and then you hear the water. I feel like they're trying to say, because his window was open and you hear the street sound, he didn't hear the water running, which is crazy. I could be listening to my music full blast, noise cancellation on, and I can tell every goddamn time one of the kids turns the sink on. Anyway, I feel like we've wrung the wet carpet enough. Do you have anything else?
No, I think the only other comment I have is regarding the quote that Justine gives, and I think there was another. I can't remember what it was.
There was a variation of it,
now.
Right?
But there are a couple of lines in this movie that I feel like we don't get those types of lines in movies anymore, that are basically I'm going to say this in a very kind of poetic way about who you are as a person. And it also is like in line with what story they are battling in.
Right. It's
like, one, I don't think people talk that way. There's that side of it, but there is also something of like her talking about him walking through, whatever it is, the walking through life where
you don't live with me, you live among the remains of dead people.
You live among the remains of dead people. Like, it's a very important line to understanding his character, their relationship, all of these things. I don't feel like we get that in film anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, and there was another line, and I can't remember what it is right now, but there's another conversation. Maybe it's the conversation between Neil and Vincent at the cafe. But it again, there's these moments that the conversations that they're having are very important to the storytelling, rather than these two people had a conversation. But it was like, oh no, the conversation that they had is a foreshadowing, is a conversational piece that is more in depth than just being like, I'm going to kill you later. But
right. And it's interesting you say that, because I'm looking at the quotes, and one is Neil talking about his dream or his nightmare. I have one where I'm drowning and I got to wake myself up and start breathing, or I'll die in my sleep. And Vincent, you know what that's about? Yeah, having enough time. Vincent, enough time to do what you want to do? That's right. You doing it now? No, not yet. And that was such a curious line, because I'm like, what is your end goal? Is your end goal to do the last job and to run away?
Mm-hmm.
Because then that puts more weight at the end. Because I was yelling at him, going, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I'm like, you're throwing away the thing you wanted to do. You did it. You got the money. You got the last job. You got everything. You're ready to go. Mm-hmm. You have a partner now. Go. And then he doesn't. He chooses the thing, meaning that the dream was BS. It wasn't It wasn't so much that he wasn't doing what he didn't want to do. It was the fear that he isn't doing what he's supposed to do is what's drowning him. It's what's weighing him down. In reality, he is doing the thing he wants to do, but he knows that it will backfire on him eventually. Like, you can't do that forever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, like, it's going to catch up to you. And that's maybe what that drowning is. I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I think those types of quotes were interesting because they give a little bit more to the characters. But I think all of the little quips and everything that Vincent said were kind of the worst.
It's very Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, which is weird because it's clear that Al Pacino like is a good actor. But it's so easy for him to fall into whatever it is that like wide eye Tony Montoya kind of what is it? What's the line? Let me show you my little friend. Like his big yelling. Yeah. But you know what? Neil is gone. Bam! Flying like a bird. Like every time he said bam, I was like, who are you, John Madden? What are we doing here? And then Casales says, Vincent, how do you, we still got bait, maybe some time. And then he said, so excuse my language, but he goes, we've got what? We've got what? Bon voyage, motherfucker. You were good. I'm going to the hotel, going to take a shower, going to sleep for a month. Like, I feel like there's a way to say that isn't just him yelling in Al Pacino. But maybe that's what we like about Al Pacino. I don't know. There were definitely moments where I was like, okay, is this Al Pacino or is this Vincent?
Mm-hmm.
Because this feels so over the top for what we're trying to build, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody in this movie is from New York, even though they're from LA. I know you made a comment about that.
Because he said it.
Like,
because he said something.
But
it was because he said he was from the Bay Area. I have so many friends from the Bay Area. I have never heard one of them sound like they're from Brooklyn or wherever De Niro's accent is, which I just offended 90% of New York City.
It does beg the question of, is what he said real or is he just making up his story? Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it was.
Then
I was thinking before that even happened, I was like, how is it that everybody in this movie is from New York, but they're playing it that they're in LA?
Yeah.
And then he said that he's from the Bay Area. Is like,
what's funny? What's funny is he's from New York City for sure. Where it was Manhattan, he was born. His parents. Greenwich
Village, yeah.
Village, Little Italy. So like Manhattan, like he grew up in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, whatever that background is. But I think what's interesting is that felt like a writing thing that they could have just changed because the person he's basing it off of was Chicago. So they could have just said he was from New York. They didn't have to make him he could have just, the only reason I say he should have said he was from New York because it was so damned obvious that he was from New York.
Yeah. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, John Voight, all New York.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
And Hank Azaria is from Queens.
Yeah.
So
He sounds like it, and it's so funny because it's like, and I'm gonna give Thomas Sizemore credit. He's from Michigan, so he's from like the East a bit. He's got that, city.
Mhm.
Is it Detroit, Michigan? So like, he's got a bit of that. Let's see, did he grow up there? Detroit, yeah. So like, I know they're two different cities, but like from us in Los Angeles in California, there is a distinction, of course, but like sometimes the urban East Coast city dialect has similarities in it, or at least that like tough guy persona has a lot of similarities. You could say Detroit, you could say any sub what is it? What do they call it? The little cities in New York. Boroughs. You could call it any borough in New York. You could say honestly, I'm going to piss people off, but this is a California person speaking. You could do someone from Philly. I won't really be able to say a full difference. I could tell you Boston. Yeah. Boston sounds different to all of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure Philly does too, but like if you just say you're from a metropolitan city in the East Coast or the East, I would be like, in the same way someone from the East Coast could not tell the difference between someone from Northern or Southern California, but we here in Southern California can absolutely tell when someone is from Northern California just because it is such a different, it's literal 8 hours difference. Like I drove up to San Francisco and I was like, this is a completely different world, but we're in the same state. But the fact that there were so many of them and they were like trying real hard to just brush that part off.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really.
William Fitchner, also from New York.
Who was he?
Van Zandt.
Oh, that one made a little sense because you're not supposed to. I didn't believe that he was.
But it's just adding to the like half of this cast is from New York, and they're like, oh, we're all from LA.
Okay. Hold on. There's one person. They don't have him on here. And then we'll transition. All right. Dennis Haysbert. I just wanted to see where he's from. He's from San Mateo, He's the only person from California.
And Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's from Cali. Ooh, I hate that I said Cali. California.
I know, you.
Forgive me.
Dweeb. Where is he? Oh, he's from LA.
Yeah.
But also that, I don't know. I think Val Kilmer, I don't know if I've ever said this. I know I've said I liked him. I think he's one of the better actors to have ever really done it. I don't think he's done enough to really express that. We did Tombstone. He was great in that. He's great in this. I think, personally, I'm going to make a bunch of Snyder bros real upset. I think he's a great Batman. And there's a few movies that I feel like a lot of people haven't seen that he plays just this different kind of character. And he's so good in it. Like it really feels as though there's not a character he can't do. There's bad movies he's in, but I feel like he always does like a pretty cool job.
Yeah.
I never saw The Island of Dr. Monroe, so I can't. I heard it's an absolute train wreck, but I don't know if he is. I know he was on set, but I don't know if he himself acted poorly. So there's that. Anyway, side note. Oh, butterscotch. I forgot to change it. So I'll just look right now. Now we transition to the review rewind where we read a positive review and a negative review. And just to note, your review that you're going to read is unfinished. I put it on there because I thought it was overwhelmingly from the positive reviews, the most concise one. But it's not, it cut off. And the original one is gone. It's a 404. So I couldn't get it. So the last two words I added just to make it clear that it's done. But let's see. What order do I have this? Okay. Metacritic. It is 76. Rotten Tomato. It is 83% and certified fresh, and 94 from the audience score. And then I do know that I believe the IMDb is 8.4 or 8.3, which it was. This movie is highly rated. So why don't you go ahead with the positive review?
All right. We have a 100 from Variety. Stunningly made and incessively acted. Incisively, thank you. Incisively acted by a large and terrific cast. Michael Mann's ambitious study of the relativity of good and evil stands apart from other films of its type by virtue of its extraordinarily rich characterizations and its thoughtful, deeply melancholy take on modern something.
I don't know. It could have been crime. It could have been masculine. I don't know. But I thought that was a great review. Like, I thought that really does break it down. Yeah, I thought I agree. I did think it was going to say incisively acted by a large man. Like, I don't know why. All right. Salon gave it a 30. A 3-hour. Oh, now I got a word I can't read. Fusillade of cliches. Did you look it up?
Fusillade? No.
Oh, I'll look it up. Because then I can make my speakers do it. Here we go. Or not.
Fusillade.
Oh, son of a... Fusillade. It means attack or shoot down. Oh, a series of shots fired or missiles thrown at the same time or in quick succession. So a series of shots fired. So a fusillade of cliches. So just a lot of cliches.
Yeah. By the way,
yeah,
I found the rest of the thing from Variety.
Oh.
And there's only one word missing. A deeply melancholy take on modern life.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And a draw of the stars, names, and critical buzz.
Apparently, Metacritic could not fit that life in there.
Yeah. Like, it's just one word.
I'm glad you... Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. What do you give it?
Ooh, what do I give this movie? I feel like... I think it lands as a solid, like, C+.
Interesting.
To me, because I think it's well done. I don't know how I feel about my own rating on that, but it's not one that I was like, wow, that was amazing. But I do think it's one that's like a good.
Oh, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
I don't plan on watching it again.
Right. And that's fair. I have a bunch of movies that I think are like A+, but I'm never going to watch them again. So I want to ask you this, just to make you think about your rating just a little bit.
Yeah, make me think about my rating a little bit.
Was it visually put together? So we're looking at it on the visual scope.
Yeah. No, I think that
bring you in?
I think the rating that I just gave it is the personal Tristan scale of like, was it a movie that I enjoyed? And sometimes I forget to be more critical with my things. The way that we talked about this movie and the amount of discussion that it brought to us, the fact that we said this is a really well put together movie. I don't know if it's in. I don't know if it's an A.
I was gonna say it is
but I think it's a solid, probably more of a B plus.
I would give it like a 89.9999999.
Yeah, I think it is right on the edge. So I apologize for my.
It is the highest B plus, but I do want to give that caveat of it's not a movie that I connect with in a way that I then go like, I love this movie. It's a movie that I believe is a good movie. It makes you think, and the goal was to make you think, and they achieve that goal.
Yeah.
There are issues in this movie. There are things that are rushed. There are plot points that don't make sense. There's extra fat in this movie that could have been cut. And man, that mannequin or that shot enrages me, but everything else about the movie is really good. The acting is solid. The tension building, the pacing, the overall plot is fantastic. The philosophical journey that you go on as an audience member and as a participant in the story, watching the story, is great. Like, I'm happy I went through that experience. I don't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Like, it's a good thing that happened, but I just don't want to do it again. So to me, this is as high of a B plus as you can have, because I think they did what they were supposed to do. I think they did what they were aiming to do. There were just some oversights and some things that maybe errors or missed shots that they were trying to fix, that they did it in a really weird way.
Yeah.
Note too, very 90s. Very 90s.
Very 90s.
But overall, I think it's a good movie. I think if you can find yourself in a position where you can have that mental journey, have it. I think it's worth watching. I think it's a good movie. I do think that it deserves a lot of the hype. I also do think that it deserves the objective look at it. And the objective look is, it's a good movie. I love what they were trying to do. It makes you think. It has some problems, but overall, it's a really well put together movie.
Yeah. Mike, I want to thank you for challenging my original grade.
You're welcome. Because when you said that, I was like, I don't think you mean that.
I know. And like I said, as I was saying, I don't think I agree with what I'm saying right now. But the thing about the show is that we're trying to rate things, and I think this is important for our listener to know, is that like, it's sometimes I think I've talked about this before, it's difficult to differentiate my personal feelings about, like, if I was to rate this on like Tristan's personal scale of movies that he would watch again versus the critical review of it.
Right.
And like, so thank you for challenging me on that.
Like, if I was going to rate this at how satisfied I felt at the end of this movie, it'd be a D.
Yeah.
I didn't feel satisfied at the end of it, but that's not the point. The point of this movie is not to feel satisfied. The point of the movie is to face the realities of humanity, life and death, mortality, the discussion of good and evil.
Good and bad, yeah.
It is such a deep conversation done in a way that is very entertaining, but also done in a way that like it doesn't have a neat package at the end. It's not wrapped and ready for you to unwrap. It is a disheveled mess of heartache and the realities of humanity. And humanity is messy, and humanity is kind of gross, and it is deeply traumatic, and there's all of these crazy aspects to humanity that if you stop to think about it, you're like, it's beautiful, but it's not something I want to experience every day or ever again for that matter. I'll think about it some other time in a different way, but this mode got me thinking about it in this way, and I'm happy for it. But so like when you said that, I was like, dude, I get what you're saying. That's not what we're trying to do here.
I know. And
I think that's really because the whole point of this podcast that I originally came up with the idea for, that sounded so douchey, but my hope for it was,
what am I even doing here?
Yeah. My hope for it was simply that when I read reviews, there is always a ulterior motive to what they're writing. They're getting paid to write it. They're doing this or that to write it. I've always had an issue with movie critics and reviews because they're never put in a perspective of a normal person who just watches movies because they like movies. And so I wanted us to go through that and to watch the movie with an objective perspective, but as like a normal person who doesn't like get paid for it or anything like that, but who can watch it and then tell other normal, regular life people and say, hey, this is what we thought of it. These critics, they're crazy or what, like giving it 100%. Even so, maybe for 95, that makes sense, but like, that's wild because the movie had issues. Al Pacino freaking out is like, that is, you can't watch this movie and go, that was a perfect choice. That was great.
Yeah,
I love that.
That seems right.
Huge, like whatever it, like none of that is normal or anything. And in the scope of this movie that we're supposed to take very serious as like real life, that is cartoony. So the idea of like 100%, but then also the idea of 30%, you didn't watch this movie with an objective lens. You watched this movie because your boss made you, I was going to say parents, your bosses made you to watch it, but apparently you hate Michael Mann and Robert De Niro and all of these people. Like you say like weird Italian slurs when no one's looking, like, so.
Yeah, no, I let my subjectivity slightly blind me from my objectivity, but so I thank you for calling me out on that.
Hey.
But I think it's good to think about movies from both perspectives of like, how does this movie feel like to me? But also to acknowledge like, even if you don't like this movie, it is something that like, if you're a film student or you like just the study of films, this is one.
Yeah. I think it challenges the whole understanding of entertainment and movies. And, you know, there's this thing going around on TikTok about how people are trying to say that Star Wars isn't political. And it's like Star Wars is the most political thing out there. And George Lucas has said as much.
Yeah.
He has given you the details of in what way it is political and why it is, the background on it. And I think there is a place for us to challenge our understandings and the norms of entertainment and realize that art is art, and we should be working towards understanding art for what the art is. Not just entertainment, but to make you think, to challenge your ideals of, like I've said before, humanity. And And with that note, respect what the people were trying to do in doing that. In the same way of analyzing lyrics to a song, you should be analyzing it. And yes, you should be getting your own interpretation from it, but you should also honor what they were originally aiming to do. And I hope we've done that, but could be sniffing our own farts at this point. I don't know.
Hey, sometimes they smell like French fries.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong button. I got thrown off by French fry farts. Oh, my gosh. Well, thank you for listening. Tristan, always a pleasure.
Hey.
We will see you guys next time. And listeners, remember to review those rewinds. And we'll see you next time. And check out this theme I wrote a long time ago. I really like this song. It's fun.